All right, welcome back in here to Live Now from Fox. I am Andy Mack. The gates are about to be opened there at Levi Stadium for the Super Bowl XLIX. And everyone looking for an edge. The coaches, the players, the fans alike to see who will come out on top and win that Lombardi Trophy. A live picture there outside of Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California. The Seattle Seahawks against the New England Patriots in this big game. You can see some of the festivities going on, people at this fan fest, and that's been kind of the feel all week long ahead of this as the stage is set for this game. And even some people are looking into video games to kind of find out who might come out on top. Let's take you out to this report here on Live Now.
Seahawks, Patriots.
EA Sports Madden NFL 26 has its prediction for this year's Super Bowl between the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks, a rematch from over a decade ago. The last sim accurately guessed that the Pats would pull it out 28-24.
The New England Patriots have won the Super Bowl.
This year, with Sam Darnold under center, Madden says the Seahawks will squeak by 23-20.
The Seattle Seahawks are Super Bowl champions.
Over the last 9 years, EA Sports has correctly guessed who would win the big game 4 times, giving them a win percentage of 44%. But in a 20-year span, that rises to a 65% win rate.
Mutant Football League 2.
In fantasy-style football, the Mutant Football League made its prediction in the Mayhem Bowl. Stand-ins for the Patriots, the nuked London Patriots, to win against the Micro Hard Mutilators, 40-37. The name Micro Hard, a parody of the famous Microsoft headquarters in Washington.
And he bursts into the end zone for the score.
Mutant Football League creative director Michael Mendheim claims his 2 games have a better prediction rate than Madden, with 5 games predicted correctly since they started with the MFL 1 9 years ago. The Fox on Games prediction on Madden 25 has New England winning another tight game, 14-7, with Pats QB Drake Maye as the MVP. In New York, Eamon Dignam, Fox, Chicago.
All right, thank you so much. It's interesting to look at how people trying to predict what's coming there from this Super Bowl 60. And one of the key places, if you're going to watch the Super Bowl, one of the special places is going to be Las Vegas if you're not fortunate enough, not rich enough potentially to have a ticket. Let's be joined right now by Patrick Everson, senior reporter, Vegas Insider, covering all of these big sporting events, Super Bowl as big as it comes. Patrick, thank you so much for joining us. What are we looking at today? Who has the odds? What are you keeping your eye on right now?
Well, first off, thank you for having me, Andy. I really appreciate it. I am live here at the Circa Sportsbook inside Circa Las Vegas, downtown on Fremont Street. This is one of the meccas of sports betting, not only here in Las Vegas, but worldwide. It's just an amazing spot, as you can see behind me. That's the huge odds board. Place is starting to fill up. It'll be jam-packed and super rowdy by the time we get to kickoff. So just generally speaking, Andy, what I'm hearing from not only sportsbooks here in Las Vegas, but across the country is a whole lot of Seahawks sentiment on this game. And so for the most part, odds makers seem to be rooting for the Patriots. And obviously they would like to see an under. They kind of want to see a boring game. However, here at Circa, perhaps a little bit different. I'm about to talk with their director of sportsbook operations in just a few minutes here. And I'll have a video up live on X on that in about half an hour. But they have, right after the odds went up 2 weeks ago, Andy, they took a $1.8 million bet on the, or $1.1 million bet, I should say, on the Patriots, plus 188 on the money line. So what that means is that bet, if it wins, would pay out more than $2 million in profit for a total payout of more than $3 million. They've got that bet. And over the course of the season, and maybe perhaps preseason, I know they took a couple of other wagers that have very high liability, up into 7 figures. So they may be the exception to the rule here at Circa. They might actually be rooting for the Seahawks tonight. But for the most part, what I'm hearing from sportsbooks here in Vegas and across the country is they would probably like to see the Patriots at least cover the spread, if not win the game outright.
Yeah, we've seen this kind of grow and continue. Has the kind of emphasis on betting continued to bloom, to continue to grow around the Super Bowl? Are they expecting to see even more money on this game than ever before?
I think you could say, nationally, I think you could say that will be the case, because as you add more states each year that roll out legal and regulated sports betting, you're going to break records every year. It's almost impossible not to. I think one thing that's interesting, though, and I've heard this from a couple of different operators, including I just dropped by the South Point, which is, look, I know it may not be familiar to a lot of your viewers, but South Point is a really highly regarded sports book, not only here in Vegas, but nationally. Same with Circa right behind me here, very highly regarded. And the Super Bowl props, the prop bets, which is what everybody likes to get involved in. A lot of people, maybe they've never bet before, maybe they only bet once a year, and they love getting involved with the props. So really what it comes down to for a lot of these sportsbook operators, they can't even necessarily say, Andy, oh, we're going to need the Seahawks, or, oh, we're going to need the Patriots. They say, we're going to have to beat the prop bet. And the public betting masses, people like you and me, Andy, and all the others, and all those people who only bet once a year or maybe are just betting for the first time in their lives today, they're going to want to bet on fun stuff. They're going to want to bet a little to win a lot. They're going to be betting on things like, yes, on will there be a safety, and yes, on will the game go to overtime, and maybe they're betting on the national anthem or things like that. And those are the kind of things that, you know, can add up because so many people like to bet on them. Like I said, to bet a little to win a lot, that the books are really going to have to beat the props more so than they're going to have to beat either of these teams.
Yeah, that is a very good point. And everyone kind of loves to get into those obscure different bets as well. And this on social media, also potentially about MVP. Could it be a Sam Darnold? Could it be a Drake Maye? Could it be someone a little bit off the radar as we've seen in years past? Obviously, it's not Tom Brady. It's not Russell Wilson going head to head. We'll see who is going there. But also, I think your shirt kind of dictates a fun prop, the octopus, where you score a touchdown, get a 2-point conversion. How obscure does it get when we're talking about Super Bowl betting?
Oh, it can get really obscure. I mean, there's a lot of like cross-sport props where they tied things to like this morning's games, this morning here in the United States, in, you know, this morning's English Premier League games, to something that would happen on the field in the Super Bowl. There's lots of stuff like that. There's novelty props like, you know, obviously the outcome of the coin toss, which isn't even obscure. Obviously, it's honestly, I should say, the coin toss is hugely popular. You would not believe it when you are in a sports book, a packed sports book in Vegas or across the country, when the coin toss goes and it's announced heads or tails, half the room is going to erupt, Andy, because everybody wants to settle on something. They like to win or at least have a decision on a bet before the game even kicks off. So the coin toss, in some places where you're allowed, you can't do it here in Nevada, but in some places where you're allowed, they'll time the time of the national anthem, the over/under, those sorts of things. And then you alluded to the octopus. This is kind of obscure, but it's becoming less and less obscure. This is the official octopus T-shirt here. I'm on it. You can bet yes or no on whether a player, the same player, will score a touchdown and then subsequently score a 2-point conversion. Same drive. It's got to be 8 points on one drive, all to one player. So the no on that is like, you know, minus 6,000 or something like that, which means you'd have to literally bet $6,000 on the no to win $100. I don't roll like that. I'm taking the yes at plus 1,600, which is 16-1. I've got $20 on it. If somehow we get an octopus today, then my 20 turns into 16 times 20. What is that? $320? That's how I roll. So I'm rooting hard for an octopus today for sure.
I bet. And it's funny how people bet heads or tails before kickoff. And even before kickoff, some people might be winners or losers on the other hand. You mentioned that Circo said there was a $1.1 million bet already put on the line for this game. Do those big bets come in late? Are they early? Are they smart bettors? Are they bettors that are accustomed to this?
I think, generally speaking, let's answer the last part of that first, Andy. It's generally large house players. A lot of these high rollers play in the casino heavy on the tables or the slots, and because of that, you know, a lot of the sports books will welcome that action. But you know, sometimes it's sharper bettors and so forth. And Circa is not afraid to take a bet from anybody, whether they're really sharp professional players or just a high roller in the casino who just has a gut feeling on the game. But as far as the timing, this year was kind of a surprise. We had like 3 or 4 bets of 7 figures, $1 million or more, by like Tuesday after the odds went up. So almost 2 weeks ago. Normally those bets tend to roll in a little bit closer to the game, but we had 4 of them really quickly by basically the middle of last week. So like 10 days out, including the first one here of $1.1 million. Mattress Mac, who you maybe have heard of in our previous conversations, the big Jim McIngvale, the Houston furniture magnate. He's got a bet in. He came in earliest, but what he did was he bet $1 million on the AFC before the conference championship games, where you could pick either the AFC or the NFC. So he put $1 million in on the AFC at, I think, plus 200. So that could win $2 million. That's rather substantial for sure. But yeah, this year it's been a little more spread out. I wouldn't be surprised. We've seen a lot of very high six-figure bets over the last couple of days, like 725,000, 750,000. And I think we're going to see a few more before we get to tip-off.
Well, I look forward to your conversation with the head there at Circa about all of the sports betting about the Super Bowl. What else are you going to talk with him about? Anything other to note about Super Bowl 60 and kind of this betting forum before I let you go?
Well, what I would say is, you know, to the casual viewers, I know you want to like get on those props that pay a little to win a lot, but maybe mix in a couple where it's closer to an even, you know, where one side is closer to the other, where it's kind of a coin toss of a bet, something that you have a better chance to win. Just mix in a couple of those. I know it's not as fun because you won't win as much, but you like to at least win a couple of your bets today. So while you have a good time betting on, yes, there's going to be a safety, and yes, there's going to be overtime, and God willing, there's going to be an octopus. You know, maybe think about, you know, Darnold as the MVP, or you know, or some of the bets that are a little closer to kind of even money, where you might have to bet $20 and maybe you'll make $18. But 20 plus 18 is 38. That's pretty good ROI. You know, if you can double up, that's good ROI. So, or you know, basically double up, turn 20 into 40. There's nothing wrong with that. So don't be afraid to make those kind of bets while you're having a great time on Super Bowl Sunday.
And I think a lot of Seattle Seahawks fans, after what happened 11 years ago, put potentially that bet on the touchdown from the one or in, because just give the ball to Marshawn Lynch. So I bet that one might be a little bit popular this week as well.
Sure, absolutely. There's always a fun one. Over or under 1.5 yards, the shortest touchdown scored. That's a great one. It's a real fun one. Take either side. It's basically a coin toss. Over, under 1.5 yards for the shortest touchdown. Take a look at that one. That one could be a fun one, too.
I think a lot of fans, a lot of Marshawn Lynch fans would wish they would have that one back 11 years ago. Patrick, thank you so much. Enjoy the game. Enjoy the festivities there in Las Vegas for the Super Bowl 60. We appreciate your time here on Live Now.
Absolutely, Andy. Thank you, and have a great day.